Chapter 2: A Murder Prevented. I was taken back 4 years in the past. My alarm goes off and the announcer says, "Wake up, Ohio. Well, do I have a treat for you? This is the new one from blank hit song 4 years in the past." Looking through Jared's eyes, I was alarmed and wondering what was happening. I look around and skims through the place. This is our old house. It worked, I say to myself with the biggest smile. "Hey, Jared." Jaren throws a jacket at me. "Hurry up. Dana and Gavin should be picking us up any minute now." "All right," I say. "Where are we going?" "Jesse's party. We've only known about it for the past 2 weeks. Ever since we knew we were moving. Jessie was throwing a summer party, but she making it for us now." I get up and walk to the bathroom and grabs my toothbrush and look into the mirror. It was a totally different person, me, 4 years ago. When I was growing up, my parents were always fighting and the only peace and quiet you could get was in the corner of the house in the bathroom. I stood in the bathroom in front of a mirror as a young boy. There was a 3-piece mirror that was in the bathroom, and if you folded the mirrors together and poked your head through, you could see an infinite amount of other mirrors and faces. I always counted how many different faces I could see until it faded to the eye. 132 faces. I always wondered if one of those faces had a better life than the current one I had at that moment. Okay, they're here. His mom's going to drop us off at Rising Park, where I will meet up with the hot Morgan Myers, and then we are going to walk over to Roosters and stuff our stomachs with bread and walk over to Jesse's party. Mom and Dad think we are going to stay at Gavin's house and his parents think our house, Jaren says. "All right," Jared says as he walks over to the fridge to get something to drink and notices that most of the fridge is filled with alcohol. Dad's drinking, talking to himself. In the back room you hear the two fighting about something dumb. They knock on the door. "Jared, Jaren, ready for your last night of fun in this town," Dana says. "Dana is the girl that I'm supposed to be making out with by the end of the night," Jared narrates, "but I'm going to try and change that." "Hey," Natasha says, giving Jared a kiss. Jared says hey back. "That's Natasha. Me and her were not exactly boyfriend and girlfriend, just really good companions. I did like her, but she's a little too friendly with every guy and some girls. The reason I went out with her is she's obviously hot and we had some good times for the past 2 months," Jared narrates. "The truth is, tonight I'm supposed to find her having a threesome. That's going to be loads of fun." "Hell yeah," Jaren says. Jared stands there shocked to see the other 3 people on the other side of the door. They walk out and Jared, shutting the door, hears his parents still yelling. The 5 are dropped off at Rising Park, waving to the car driving off. "Wow. I haven't been here in years," Jared says. "What are you talking about? Me, you, Gavin, and Dana come up here all the time," Natasha says. "Oh, well, it feels longer," Jared says. "Race you to the top," Morgan says to Jaren. Jaren says, "Marry me," under his breath and starts to sprint. "I'm going to pop machine. Do you want me to get you anything?" Gavin says to Dana. "Sure, get me Diet Pepsi," Dana says. Gavin kisses her and starts to walk off. "Jared, do you guys want anything?" Gavin says. "Nah, thanks anyway," Jared says. "All right," Gavin continues to walk off. "Actually, I'm going to get me something," Natasha says, walking off. Jared and Dana continue to walk up Rising Park. "I miss this," Jared says out loud. "What do you mean?" Dana says. "Oh, nothing, just talking to myself," Jared says. "So what's going on up there?" Dana says. "What do you mean?" Jared says. "What are you thinking about?" Dana says. "Honestly, how this night's going to end," Jared says. "It seems like you and Natasha are doing good," Dana says. "Yeah, but I don't know if it's going to be a long-time thing," Jared says. "Well, I'm sure there's a girl out there for you. Maybe closer than you think," Dana says. Gavin walks up to them. "Here you are," Gavin says, handing the soda pop to Dana. "Oh, and the machine pop out another one." Gavin hands to the pop. "You like Mountain Dew?" Yeah, thanks, Jared says, grabbing the can from his hand. Well, our luck is already turning out good. Free can of pop, Gavin says, popping open his. Where's Natasha at? Jared says. I think she said she's going to the bathroom, Gavin says. I'll go wait for her, Jared says. Jared is standing leaning on a wall, with his head leaned back and his eyes closed, outside the bathroom. Well, hey there, Natasha says, giving Jared a kiss. Well, hello to you too, Jared says. We're going to have fun tonight, aren't we? Natasha says. Jared struggles for a bit, yeah, holding Natasha's hand and walking back. They are all back together. I wonder if it's still here, Jared says. What? Dana says. The most awesome geological piece of land ever made, Jared says, the Smoking Rock. Jared walks up on the side of the cliff. See. When me and Jaren came to visit a couple of years ago. I mean, a couple of summers ago. What are you talking about? Jaren says. Jared thinks off of his feet. Oh, that's right, that was Brett. Me and him found this rock where you could smoke some weed. You just put it in the hole, lit it up, and smoke it on the side of the rock. I didn't figure you as a pothead. Gavin said. No, it was just a rough year and I wanted to relax a little, Jared says. Alright, almost to the top, Jaren says as he keeps on walking. They are at the top of the cliff. Wow, look at the view, Dana says. Hey, you can see festival from here, Jaren says. Jared loves that place. Jaren, holding Morgan, says to Morgan. Not as much as you like professional wrestling, Jared says, holding Natasha. I do not. I do not. Not in front of Morgan, Jaren says. He's kidding, shaking his head. No, like Jared was lying. Alright, we better head over to Roosters, Gavin says. Party starts in couple of hours. They are in the restaurant. What can I get you guys? The says. Coke, Gavin says. Iced tea, Dana says. Cherry Coke, Natasha says. I'll have a water, Jared says. Morgan and Jaren are sitting at the table behind them holding hands. All right. I'll be back shortly for your orders, waitress says. Jared clears his throat and looks outside of the, so what are we all going to do tonight? Gavin says. Jared notices a young, familiar girl walking in from the diner, Rihanna. BRI, Jared says, straightens up. Jared about to get up from the table. Where are you going? Dana says. Going to say hi to an old friend. Brianna, Jared says. Williams. Well, you don't have to rush. We'll see her tonight at the party, Dana says. Should I be jealous? Natasha says. No, just an old friend. Jared sits back down. Oh, so you know her. Jared says. Yeah, I heard about her, Dana says. Not much, though. She and her dad just moved here from Maryland. Her dad is buying festival and she has already made the mistake of dating Colton Deskins, Jared says. That guy pisses me off. Guy's a real creep. Tries to grab any ass in this town. Pervert. Tried to hit on Dana plenty of times. I just want to beat the hell out of him sometimes, Gavin says. Yeah, but the guy's confused. His parents died, Dana said. Gavin lets out a big exhale of disgust. The waitress hands the drinks to the four. Alright, what can I get for you guys? The waitress says. Alright, have the 10 boneless donkey wings and cheese wedges, Gavin says. I'll have the same except, but instead of the fries can I get a side salad? Dana says. I'll have a chicken wrap with a side salad, Natasha says. Sure thing, honey. And for you, sir, the waitress says to Jared. Jared, having a blank stare, comes back to reality. Actually I'm not that hungry, showing a fake smile. Alright, I'll be back in a jiffy, the waitress says. Jared smiles. What? Natasha says. Jared changing the subject. Nothing. So, who is all going to be there? Well, pretty much everybody from school. Jesse, Ben and Kevin are going to supply the beer, Gavin says. The meals are brought to the table. Some thanks and nods are provided. Ben clean. Jared says. Yeah, he's new in town too. But he's filthy rich. His dad owned that multi-billion-dollar electric store, across the globe. I think it's called IT. Enterprise. Man, I can't imagine the resources that guy has, Gavin says. Is Jesse still going out with Oliver? Jared says. Those two are meant for each other, Dana says. I wonder why he went out with her, she's with another guy every week, Natasha says. I know exactly why he got with her, she was F&N hot, Gavin says. Gavin. Dana says. What? She is. Gavin says. Time passes by and the five are done eating. Gavin throws some money on the table. And they start walking out the door. Jared puts his card on top of the bill. They are at the party. A ton going on at Jesse's house. The five, Jesse, Jared, Natasha, Gavin, Ben and Dana, are huddled together in a huge group. Here. Do you want some? Some guy says, handing Jared his red, plastic cup. Sure. Can't believe I'm reliving the first time I had a drink, Jared says. What? You're crazy, you're freaking crazy. I'll party with this guy any day, the guy says, stoned out of his mind, walking away. Natasha staring at Jared. Jared staring at Natasha. Having a good time. Natasha whispering into Jared's ears. Absolutely, Jared replies. Do you want to go somewhere a little more private? Natasha says. Natasha grabs Jared's hand and leads him to the upstairs. Jared and Morgan are making out on a couch next to the stairs and Jared pats him on the back. They are at the top of the stairs. Actually, I have to use the bathroom, Jared says. Sure thing, I'll wait for you in this room, Natasha says, giving him a kiss. Jared narrates, it's kind of weird seeing the room where you found your girlfriend having a threesome, but I have to look for Brianna. Jared walking to room. Jared walks to the room where he saw Colton trying to rape Brianna. Get off of me, Brianna says, struggle, and Jared pulls him off of her. I think you should leave, Jared says. Or what? What's your little pansy ass going to do about it? Colton says. Colton starting to walk back over to Brianna. Jared puts his hands on his chest, shoving him. Colton shoves Jared out of the room and into another one, where a guy is having sex with his girl. Jared punches back and Colton shoves him yet again through a wide-view window. The two are tumbling on the roof and onto the ground. Ben walks by the room and notices Brianna there. Are you okay? Ben says. Brianna shaking her head no. Do you want me to take you home? Ben says, holding her, walking to the door. Jared is punching the hell out of this guy, having flashes of the shot that occurred the chapter before. The crowd begins to from. Gavin, come on, Jared is in a fight, the guy that brought the plastic cup says. Gavin and the others start running and Dana pulls Jaren from the couch. The two are still brawling it out. Jaren and Gavin pull Jared off of him. I think you should get the hell out of here, Gavin says to Colton. Colton licks the cut on his lip and wipes the blood off his chin. And pauses for less than a second, like he was going to say something, and then walks into the crowd. Watch, my stomach hurts, Jared says. Yeah, we better have you lay down, big guy, Dana says. Jared is laying on the bed, and gets up. I've got to see if Natasha still does it, Jared narrates. Jared walks into the room where Natasha was supposed to be waiting for him. And there she was with another guy and another girl kissing the girl. She kisses really passionate and then looks up and sees Jared. Jared has a disappointed look his face and Natasha says, Jared. Wait. Jared shuts the door. Jared goes into the bathroom, with sharp pains in his stomach, and hears a cry in the bathtub. It's Jesse. Are you alright? Jared says. Yeah, if you count seeing your boyfriend having a three-way with two girls, Jesse says. Yeah, I know what you mean, one of them was my girlf. Was Natasha, Jared says. What? Jesse says. I just saw them, Jared says, holding his gut, having a sharp pain. Are you alright? Jesse says. No, I think I have to lay down, Jared says. Jared flops into the bed holding his gut. Dana walks into the room. Hey, are you alright? Yeah, I've been better, Jared says. She walks over and sits next to Jared. Listen, Jared. I've been holding this in for a while. I know that Gavin is your best friend, but if I met you just a few minutes before Gavin, things would be a lot easier for me to do this. She goes into for a kiss, but Jared stops her before their lips lock. Dana, we can't do this, you're going to regret this. I'm about to move, and Gavin will be here for you every day. Something I'm not going to be able to. Jared says, and Dana has a look of disappointment. Just promise me that you'll try to stay with Gavin. He's a good guy, Jared says. Jared looks into Dana's eyes. Dana. I promise, Dana says. Gavin walks into the room. Hey, I'm going to say bye to everyone. Do you want to leave? Gavin says. Yeah, in a second, Dana says. Gavin walks out. Jared, I don't care, I thought a lot about this and... Dana interrupted. Jared has a sharp pain going through his stomach, SS. Oh, my stomach, Jared says. Jared clenching back in pain, then starting to seize. Jared. Jared, I'm going to go get some help. Jared is lying on the bed with sweat strands forming on his forehead and face. Jared is clenching with agony, with his eyes closed, and then his eyes opening with a pure crystal white. And a force forms around him. Jared jumps up from the machine of which he had traveled from the chapter before. Jared. Jared, are you okay? Gavin says to Jared. Where's Brianna? Jared says. Who's Brianna? Gavin says, and Jared slowly fades into a blur. Jared awakes from a car. You finally up? Gavin says. What happened? Jared says, my head feels like shit. You took a joyride, Gavin says, luckily I was here. No, I asked you last night to help me start it up, because I wanted to save Brianna. Jared jumps up. Brianna. Brianna Williams. Is she okay? You did say something about her when you first came to, but the name doesn't sound familiar, Gavin says. Jared shows a face of disappointment. Well, are you and Dana still together? Jared says. Of course. Why would you say something like that? Gavin says, what happened to you when you went over? I traveled back 4 years in the past, before we moved. You remember Jesse's party? Jared says. Yeah, I remember you beating the crap out of some guy. Why? Were me and Dana not together before? Gavin says. Yeah, actually you could say that you two hated each other, Jared says. Why? Gavin says. I don't know, but let's not get into that. I don't want to ruin what you two have over something that hasn't happened, Jared says. By the way, just putting it out there, have we kept in touch over the past 4 years? Jared asks. Are you kidding? You, your brother, and the rest of your family came down every other weekend and had a shitload of people come over to the Moose, Gavin says. Jared thought for a minute. When we moved back into town, did Colton Deskin's brother get into a car accident? Jared in suspense to hear the answer. Here we are. Gavin pull into the front of Burger Chef. No, I do remember some asshole, in a blue Nissan, trying to pass us when me, Ben, and your family were moving your stuff to your parents' house. But, we had like 4 cars, and the guy couldn't get by. We got all the stuff in one trip, Gavin says. What are we doing here? Jared asks. Ben wanted us to come here and meet his new girlfriend, Gavin says. Oh, so I'm guessing since we are still friends with Ben that we all still live in the mansion on Stemmen Road, Jared says. Yeah, me, you and Ben founded the place, Gavin says, getting out of the car. We accept people from the school and underprivileged men and women that have been abused by parents, boyfriends, and troubled women that have been raped, Gavin says. The thing about underprivileged people was what you and Ben wanted. I never asked why, Gavin says. Start playing Zoe Jane by Stained. On a projector, it says the title and the band's name in the right corner and Aaron Lewis doing a live performance. It shows Jared, Gavin, Dana, Rachel, Jaren, Morgan are sitting in the restaurant talking and having a good time. Next, camera is outside, moves in a diagonal showing the Carnival Foods building. Then, fades out and into Burger Chef. Camera goes back inside of the restaurant. Jared reaches and pulls out his wallet to get some money out and sees the photo strip of him and Brianna and stares for a few seconds and wipes it with his thumb, like it was the most precious thing on earth. When Jared took his pants off in the machine and didn't take it out of the machine, it must have not been altered. Jared and Gavin get up to get everybody some refills. Jared asks, what is his girlfriend's name? Gavin answers and says, I don't know, I think it was Brittany or Bethany. Jared stands completely still. Brianna. On 49 seconds, slow motion, Brianna is standing there smiling and shows a man walking up to her and the two have a romantic kiss. The man is Ben. A tear falls down Jared's face. Gavin looks worried and wondering what the hell is happening, and immediately wipes it and gets back to the refilling the cups. After the song says, I'll always love you. Immediately go to the next scene. The bar and grill is busy. Rachel says, okay, so how did you two lovebirds meet? It was about 4 years ago, at Jesse's party. It's taken us this long to tell you guys because her dad is a hard person to please, Gavin says. Yeah, but it was worth the wait, Brianna says, putting her hand on Ben's, touching him with such emotion. Jared had a disappointed expression on his face, then Rachel looks over and he has a fake smile. Jared was standing at the balcony where him and Gavin had a dispute before. It became nightfall and the sky was filled with stars. Jared there, doing his unhealthy habit, smoking. What are you doing up here alone? Gavin says, walking behind him. Just thinking, Jared says. About. Gavin says, wanting an answer. You know what, I'll tell you, Jared explains, I'm glad that everything seems to be alright. Hell, I should be happy that Brianna's still alive and she's happy. But I wanted to come back and have her in my arms. I should be saying if she's happy, then I'm happy, but that's bullshit. Jared pauses for a bit. Well, it doesn't matter anymore. I never seen you shaken up about something like this, but we'll figure something out. I mean, if you travel back in time before and changed something. Who's to say that you can't do it again? Gavin saying, trying to reassure his friend, I'm going to go to be with Dana. Are you alright to lock up everything? Jared nods his head, sure. Jared sits there, following up on some work, and staring at the machine, wondering if it was a blessing or a curse. Play Cat and Mouse by Red Jumpsuit Apparatus. So far this machine has done nothing but left me in confusion and discouragement. Although, it seems that everybody is better off that me and Brianna never met till now. Jared's. Imagining this happening in the basement, Dana and Gavin are back together because a kiss that changed it all never happened. Gavin and Dana are cuddling watching a movie on his bed. Morgan and Jaren stayed in contact and now are better off. Jaren and Morgan in a car, watching on a projection a modern movie. Colton's brother wasn't in that horrific car accident. I can't be for certain on what's happening with this project, but I can't let selfishness stop something that helps so many get in the way of what I want. Brianna's still alive because Ben and her have had a secret relationship since Jesse's party. Scene of Ben and Brianna playing Wii with Brianna's dad. Brianna walks up to get some Twizzlers and is right in front of Jared. Jared tries to graze her face, then she disappears. I'll just wait it out. Tomorrow's another day. Jared turns off the lights. End scene.